CEO's journey. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. It is Fiverr Friday. That is right. We are September 4th. Craziness. I mean, it's supposed to be like fall, and I'm just blown away by everything. So I want to welcome you, and I also want to tell you just a brief update of what's happening with YouTube and everything. So I hope I could get some feedback from you guys today. But I've got a message. YouTube and Google are changing some of the streaming rules. So they're claiming I have to use YouTube events instead of YouTube streaming. I'm doing both right now. I have no idea what it's going to become of it. So, I mean, if you're seeing me like 20 different places, I apologize, but hopefully it will work out fine. So I want to welcome everybody from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Also, if you get an opportunity, please go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell notification so you can get notified when I go live or do new videos. And, I want to thank you as always for watching and being a part of the channel. So today, I really got a great topic. And, it's interesting to me because of all the videos I've done, I don't think I've ever done a video on this particular topic. And the topic we want to talk about today is how to move up in levels on Fiverr. It's interesting. I'm right. I've never done a video on this, and I don't know why. Because we're all interested. When the 14th or 15th of the month comes around, we're all trying to see if we've moved up, in the levels. So, I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk about it, and there was some questions in the Facebook group regarding this. So, I thought I would go for it. By the way, if you're new to Fiverr Fridays, this is a session where I kind of, talk about some updates or things that I'm thinking about going on Fiverr, and then you can post questions, comments, and on the chat, and we can talk, and I'll try to answer them and do whatever I can to help you out. So let's dive into this topic. How do you move up in levels? Well, first off, depending on where you are on Fiverr has I guess you would say 4 levels, right? So you have when you're first starting out, or level 0, okay? But when you're first starting out, you're at no level, you're just a beginner. At this point, you get 7 gigs total that you can put up. Okay, and the criteria to move up when you are just starting is not as much, or it's a little different as it is as you are moving up the range. So let's go through each one of these, and I actually want to bring up let me see. I'm going to bring up my actual, so I get all of the things absolutely right to make sure that you know exactly what it is. Because as you go up the ladder, like when you get close to becoming a top-rated seller, you have to actually be nominated for that, and it can become, challenging. Not everybody gets it, and et cetera, et cetera. So anyways, so the first category, I'm like, this is crazy. I'm trying to find it on my computer, and I cannot get to what the actual things are. So if we wait a moment, I apologize for that. But anyways, as I'm going through here, let me see. Maybe anybody knows where it's at to move up and you're on Fiverr. So Fiverr, okay, so on the bottom of Fiverr, there's a ribbon right on the bottom, and it's got all the information about like support and everything, and how you can, get information, et cetera, et cetera. And it tells you exactly where to go and to learn about this, moving up in the rankings. So there's level 0, or just beginning. There's level 1, there's level 2, and then there's top rated seller. Each one of these things has a criteria in order to move up. So what I'm trying to do right now is actually go to the criteria, because it's changed. And it's important to make sure that everybody knows exactly what's going on. I'm totally stalling right now, as you can tell. totally stalling because I'm trying to find it on my computer. You would think that I would have this before I started the video, but really, I realized, wait a minute, I realized I need to have this, and that's important. So let's see. Ah, here we go. All right. All right. So achieving levels. So let's go ahead and dive in. So when you get to level 1, okay, so from 0 to level 1, I believe. Now it's telling me, okay, this is the issue here. Fiverr's changed up. By the way, if you haven't looked, Fiverr's changed up all of their stuff on how you find things. So let's go here. Boy, what a bust. Got to pull it out here. We got to change tactics. All right, well, let's just go ahead and dive in to what you get when you move up to the levels. I believe that moving from go to your analytics page. Oh my gosh, you guys are, look at that. Angela, you could be doing the video today. All right, thank you, Angela. Angela rocks. Angela rocks. So you head over to your analytics page on Fiverr, and let's see. Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, Angela. Thank you, Angela, very much. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so now, as a beginning seller, all right, you get 7 active gigs. Okay, I'm a big proponent for setting up those 7 gigs. All right, when you're first starting out, you want to get all 7. The more that you get out there, the better. By the way, thank you for sticking around to that total just bust. I wish I could edit it out, but it's live, so I can't. So that's that. So anyways, as you're starting out, you get 7 gigs. You get 2 gig extras, and basically, that means that you get to fill out some extra gigs. All right. There is also multiples, but don't worry about multiples. You can send custom offers, and the clearing date for your money is 14 days. Okay, meaning that when you make money, once they go ahead and accept it, they have 3 days to accept your order, and if they don't accept it, they'll automatically accept. So after that acceptance period, then it's up to 14 days. All right, so there are some requirements that you need to reach to get to the level 1 status. All right, now level 1 and level 2, when you reach those, they're automatic. Okay, meaning if you reach those specific requirements, you actually move up. So the first requirements for level 1 is you've got to complete at least 60 days as an active seller on Fiverr. You need to complete at least 10 individual orders total. You need to earn at least $400, maintain a 4.7 star rating over the course of 60 days, 90% response rate, 90% order completion, 90% on time. So on your phone too, it really helps, and you can check it on analytics as well. But I have the app on my phone, the Fiverr app on my phone, and that helps a lot. And of course, you want to avoid receiving any warnings. And what you would receive warnings is if, for example, there's a terms of service violation, like you gave someone your phone number, or you through the platform, or you try to give them their email address, or ask them to pay you, et cetera, et cetera. But so you stay clear of those. You meet those requirements. You're on the platform at least 2 months, being active. And you have at least completed 10 individual orders total, and you've earned at least $400, then you pretty much, and you have that 4.7 star rating over the course of the 60 days, you're above 90% on all of the ratings areas, then you move up to level 1, okay? So that's how you get to level 1. And let's see what is somebody's over there. Say 6 all fathers and 4 Marys, and you will be all forgiven. That's right. Well, I'm going to be saying it after this one. All right, so that's level 1. It's funny when I in my mind in this video, I really wanted to talk about between level 2 and top rated seller, which is a different situation, which is not written down. But then as I started the video, I realized, wait a minute, we need to talk about level 1 and level 2 instead of just top rated seller, because when we get to top rated seller, I'll tell you what I've learned over the years and how you get there. But these are stats. So let's move on to level 2. By the way, when you do get to level 1, you move up to being 10 gigs available. You get 4 gig extras, and you've got 10 gig multiples. But listen, the multiples are not really for us because that usually adds on to other packages. Right? Like you can have multiples of those packages, which we don't do that unless you're in like audiobook production. But for us, we use words. So, the word count. So it doesn't really apply to us. The earning clearance is still 14 days. You can still send custom offers, and you are eligible to be featured at promotional listings. So that's something it used to be level 2, but now you become eligible to use the promoted program. And that's something that is pretty cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into what it takes to get to level 2. All right, so you get to level 1, you're like, woo, okay. Now level 2, you have to complete at least 120 days as an active seller on Fiverr. So you got to be on there for at least 6 months, complete at least 50 individual orders. You got to earn at least $2,000, maintain a 4.7 star rating over the course of 60 days. All right, 90% response rate, 90% order rate, 90% on-time delivery rate, and of course, avoid receiving any warnings over the last 30 days. So this one definitely, you got to be on there for 6 months. You can tell that, and by the way, one thing that, people take for granted, or people who, maybe don't have the nicest things to say about Fiverr, Fiverr, these levels really do help, I think, in my mind, to legitimize all of our hard work, right? And, it allows for people to really show that they have put in time to build their business on this particular platform, and that you've had to reach certain criteria in order to get there. So, in a lot of other platforms, they don't have anything like this. So it's really nice. On people per hour, they do have rankings, and some other places they have rankings, but for the most part, they don't. So, this is something I really do like about Fiverr a lot. Now, level 2, you get 20 gigs available. You get 5 gig extras, 15 gig multiples, like we talked about, really doesn't matter. Now you can send custom offers up to $10,000. You have priority customer support, eligibility to be featured at promotional listings, eligibility for the customer success program, which is huge. The customer success program is where you get a personal coach, if you will, by Fiverr that helps you grow your business and, gives you tips and consults you on how to get more work on Fiverr. Now, the earning clearance is still 14 days. Okay? All right. So that is the general knowledge to get to level 2. Now, Fiverr does have some requirements. Okay, well, they have a lot of requirements to get to top-rated seller. However, when you get there and you meet all the requirements, you don't automatically get to top-rated seller. And I'm going to talk about that next. So the requirements that you have to do to get to top-rated sellers, you got to be at least active for 180 days. You got to complete at least 100 individual orders all time. You got to earn at least $20,000 on Fiverr. Maintain a 4.7 star rating over the course of 60 days, 90% across the board again, and avoid warnings over the course of 30 days. But here's the thing, you have to also know that this is a manual process. It's not an automatic process like the other ones. Okay. And it clearly states that in the overview. And this is kind of where I wanted to dive into today, that it's very, very important to talk about when you get to this place, what is Fiverr looking at? Because when you meet that criteria, you're up to level 2, you've met all of that stuff, and you're like, man, for some reason, I can't get to top rated seller. So Fiverr is just like any other business. They want to make money, and they want to promote people who are making more money. So when you are first starting out, like when I first started out, I started making, I started with $5, $10 I was charging, and, I started getting super busy, and to the point where I was so busy that I had to raise my rates, right? Because I was just so busy. I couldn't do any more, I physically couldn't do any more voiceovers, and I wasn't going to make any more money because I couldn't do any more. So in order to make some more money, right, and grow my business, it was time for me to raise my rates. So I did. And as I went through that process, okay, I learned that Fiverr is very particular about your average sales price, okay, or your average selling price. When I was first on Fiverr and I started to get really busy and I was selling at $5, I think my average sales price was around $30 or $40, okay? And when I got into the Seller Success Program, one of the first things my coaches from Fiverr told me was that I really needed to get that to over $55. Okay, because that's a general average, or it was, I guess, a year and a half ago on Fiverr. I'm assuming it's higher now. But, to get that up, because Fiverr is really looking for that higher average to move up in the rankings. That's why you see a lot of top-rated sellers with their prices a lot higher. However, here's the rub, and this is very important. When you're first starting out, okay, now, mind you, you can charge whatever you want. This is your business. But when you're first starting out, don't look at the top-rated sellers and be like, oh, well, they're charging that, I'm going to charge that. And then when you don't get business, you're like, I don't understand why I'm not getting business. Okay? Because it is so when I said it was great that they had this tiered system on Fiverr, it also is, it favors the people at the, who have worked their way up and get up to the top. I mean, let's just be honest, it does. It's good when you learn how to do this and you work with somebody like me, or you're in our Fiverr Elite group where you have a group of people who can help you move faster. But you gotta love it when I'm talking about Fiverr and people are ordering from me. So we're all like that. When you hear that beep, you're like, oh, it's the Fiverr. Anyways, when it's promoting the people at the top for top rated seller, et cetera, that level 2, all right, who are being seen more. So of course we want to get there, and that's the way that system works. But because of that, we have to kind of inch our way up. We can't start at the top, and part of that is pricing. So a lot of times to get work, we have to use pricing as a tool. Okay, but your price right now is not the end game. If you're charging $5 or $10 for 100 words, that's not the end game. That's just a current snapshot in time in order to get you enough social proof and credibility on the platform to build your way up. So here's a perfect example. I got into the Seller Success Program and became a top-rated seller by charging $5 for 150 words. Now my average selling price is over $75, $76 an order. But that's not how it was when I first started and to get up to where I was or where I am now. Now I'm at a place where I charge more, and there's people who charge way more than I do on Fiverr. Okay, so I'm pointing that out though because it's important to note that if you're just starting out, again, charge what you want. But if you put a number up there and you're like, I'm just not getting any traffic, I don't know why, what's going on. It could be that people, go on there and they're searching and they look at something, they're like, hey, this person clearly has done a bunch. I don't want to take a chance on, someone who doesn't have any social proof at the moment. You know what I mean? So you've got to kind of claw, you got to work your way up, you got to crawl your way up. We all had to do it. And Fiverr set this up so that, everybody has to go through the same process so that people can, they can be assured that if you get to that place, a top-rated seller, it's going to be worth it. So for me, one of the biggest issues that Fiverr has is that average selling price. Okay. It's uniqueness. I mean, this is a quota that Fiverr has because it's across the board, right? They want to make sure that they are promoting people because when you become a top-rated seller, okay, you are definitely promoted differently. You could tell that, top-rated sellers, all the top-rated sellers I work with are all making, $4,000 to $5,000 up to $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month. Okay. So, it's a nice place to be, but you have to be able to prove that you can actually do that work and get through, all of the hoopla. So the biggest thing if you're going from level 2 to top-rated seller after you meet that stuff is to really double down, make sure you've got everything filled out on Fiverr exactly. Well, you should do that no matter what, but everything on Fiverr is exactly filled out, but your average selling price is super important. So think of it as, you're just a stepping stone. As you move up, you need to raise your prices. Okay. Now, again, you could start just by starting off. I have people who start at a certain price level. Like, I started my son at $10 for 100 words. He's 12, but the difference with him is that he's under me as a top rated seller. So, that's a different story for him, but he's also a kid and there's not a lot of kids there, right? It's like supply and demand again. So it's important for you to note that if you are just starting out, pay attention to what you're charging and what you're actually getting in return from it. Okay? Because at this point, you want reviews when you're starting out and when you're growing. And as you go up, you want not just reviews, but you also want average, you want nice, large sales. Okay. Another way to up your sales average too is to do different larger projects, like larger audiobooks or larger meditation projects, larger e-learning projects, that are $3, $4, $5, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. I've done work up to $3,000, $4,000 a job on Fiverr. So a single job. So use that and to help you boost your way up as well. All right. I hope that this has been helpful. I know we kind of stumbled. I hope people just, if they watch it after the live is over, they're like, is this guy ever going to say anything? But I think hopefully I spurred a lot of different comments. So let's see if the comments were like, Anthony, you suck. Not Anthony, can you help us? So let's go ahead and check it out. Voiceover Angela. Angela, thank you. It's good to see you. Eric, hello. Got you on YouTube and I got 2 notifications. So, I wonder if the events, so again, like I said, events are different now. They're switching to events. Maybe it's going to be a better thing. Maybe more people will get information. Let's see. Out of work professor, greetings. What's up? Facebook user, hi. Good to have you. Sorry, they don't tell me where, what your name is there. Tom, hello. Good to have you, Tom. Rich, hello. Ricardo, hello. Dana, hello, everyone. Sitting at the job, waiting to get home and put some in action. I hear you, Dana. Don, it's good to have you. Would you consider applying for the program in Fiverr? Excellent question, Angela. I don't know if Storm is here, but she's in our group. So Storm is another amazing voice actress, and I've worked with her, and she has, done a lot of hard work to move up the ladder. She was recently accepted into the pro program, and but we have a lot of other people who are in the pro program that's in our group. I personally would not, Angela, for you, do not move to the pro program. That's my opinion, because there are many people in the pro program who make way less than you make right now. And I know what Angela's doing because Angela and I have worked together. So I would not change what you're doing. Do not try to fix something that's not broken. The pro program doesn't mean you're going to make any more than what you're making now. Okay. So I would just stick where you are. Okay, because it completely changes everything. If you notice, there are some people that show up, but they don't. But the pro program doesn't show up all on Fiverr. If you notice, top rated sellers show up way more in the searches. Okay, unless you specifically have to go to the pro program. So just remember that. Okay, so I would personally say no to that. However, some people have some great experiences on the pro program if you're coming in and so forth. So that's just my opinion, Angela. Good question. Rich, you start out fighting rats and spiders and work your way up to a boss. Yeah, that's true. That's actually really true on Fiverr. Too rich to miss. What's up? What's up, man? Sean, hi, Anthony. I'm off today, and the first time I'm watching you 70-degree studio. 76-degree studio. I'm assuming that's that's a good thing. It's not hot. Go to your analytics page. Oh yeah, thank you, Angela. What's up? Must overcome. Sean, Fiverr's new app update is useless for the voiceover world. Okay, I have to check that. I did know that there's a new update on it. Hi, Anthony. Could you tell something for getting me my first gig converted? First gig converted. I'm not sure. Do you mean like just getting your first job? Is that what you mean by that? By getting your first job? So it used to be a long time ago that, the buyer request section, especially for people just starting out, was a great place to go. And it still is a good place to go. However, Fiverr's changed it to where when you're just starting out, you don't see as much as you do as someone who is higher rankings. I'm assuming Fiverr had some reason for it, whether it was just quality control or whatever they were doing. But, now you might only see 5 or 6 offerings at a time, and it's a lot challenging to get buyer requests. But my big thing is, the first thing that you need to do is get at least all 7 gigs up. You've got to focus on your thumbnails being incredible. Remember, on Fiverr, they first have to see you. Your thumbnails, your title. They second have to click on you, and the third thing they do is listen. So the third thing they do is listen. But the first thing they do is your thumbnails. Most people struggle with their thumbnails, especially when they're starting out, knowing how professional. Your thumbnail, you should strive to make your thumbnail look better than everyone's. You should just do it. You should try your hardest because that's important. It shows professionalism right off the bat. Then your demo, you should try to make the very best demo that's possible for you right now. And I'm not talking about going out and spending thousands and thousands of dollars on a demo. I'm saying if you can only afford to make your own demo right now, then you work your butt off and try as hard as you can to make the very best demo you can do. Go to Fiverr, start listening to other people, those specific demos that are at the top of the pages that are selling a lot. Listen how they're formatted. Go to voices.com, go to Voice123, go to all these different sites and listen to the professional demos, how they're set up, what they sound like. Okay, so that you know how it's set up, you know what something good sounds like, right? And you can start to emulate that and start to learn how to build your own that way, okay? But the very first thing you need to do is get all 7 gigs up and make sure those gigs are filled out to the nine, like they're just filled out perfectly. From everything is filled out. The descriptions are wonderful. All the pricing is accurate across the board. Your thumbnails, everything. So if you focus on those things, Fiverr will do the rest. Most people don't do that and they think it's something else. Okay, but Fiverr really, that's what's amazing about Fiverr right now. They really do a good job of getting you that work. All right, good question. No problem, Padawan. Say 6 fathers right. We talked about that. Yes, I will. Jeremy, what's up? Zach, good to have you, my friend. Jeremy. Mark says 120 days and 4 months, not 6. That would be 180 days. Mark, that's why I keep you around. Thank you, sir, for being a genius. I, however, am not a genius. It probably has to do with the fact that I stayed up till 4 this morning working on an audiobook. It's funny, as the older we get, we can stay up really late like that, but man, it hurts. You know what I mean? Like, it hurts. It hurts. I'm trying to drink as much coffee as humanly possible. But, that's another story. So thank you, Mark. Yes, 120 days is 4 months. I appreciate it, sir. Sean, Angela had mentioned hi, Angela, but what all entails the Pro Verified program? Okay, Sean, so in order to do that, what you need to do is you have to go to the Pro Sellers section on Fiverr, which is on the bottom ribbon, and then there's like an application form. And you fill out that application form, and then if they're interested, they'll contact you. All right. It usually takes a long time. Okay. But that's how you get signed up for the pro program. You have to go through an application process. And like when I was looking at it originally, there was it's funny because now would probably be a different story. But when they were big about, your social credibility, how many platforms you're on, how many followers you have, right? Like it's a big deal to be pro verified on Fiverr. But again, I make, and many top-rated sellers make way more than pro sellers. So it's just a different thing, Let's see. Ender says, blessed. What's up, my man? Mr. Cotterell. I hope I said that right. Thanks for the content, Anthony. New subscriber. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Facebook user, truly helpful. Awesome, Sean. Beep. You look down and it says, reminder, you have a delivery in 12 hours. Yeah. No, I hear that. I was actually watching an older Anthony video when I noticed the live one. Oh, cool. So $95 is good. Yes. Let's see. Joe says greetings. Angela says copy that. Neil says good VO Friday. Hello. Zach, thanks for a couple of regulars. My ASP has J. Okay. Just joined Fiverr. Want to give it a chance. Joined other sites too recently, like Mandy.com. Got a job there today. Hey, that's great that you got a job on Mandy. A YouTube video, $250 USD there. Have a nice weekend. That's awesome. Good for you. Very nice. Let's see. Zach says, Zach, what in the world are you saying, man? Mark says, hey, Anthony, Mark from the Facebook group. I know who you are, Mark. Can you create custom orders from level 0, or is that an extra that gets added to level 1 or 2? No, you can do custom orders at level 0, Mark. You are allowed up to $5,000 at one time for custom order at level 0. Okay. Let's see. New Fiverr app update today. Are you aware of any new features? I've seen none at first glance. Yeah, I think, I've not seen any new ones at first glance either, because I'm looking at it right now and it doesn't seem like they are. I was very saddened when they reinstated the overall stats, because they are not what they used to be, and it just constantly shows, at least for me, the conversion rate doesn't show anything anymore. It just shows 0. I don't know if they fixed that. My conversion rate is that awful. I don't know what's going on, but it is what it is. So I haven't seen any changes, although it could be also too, because remember, we're not doing changes, like we're just doing selling. We're not doing buying. So if you switch from seller mode to like buyer mode, do you know what I mean? They could have different things on there. You know what I mean? So that's something that, I'm not quite sure of. So you would have to look further into that. Let's see. Hi, Sean. Happy Friday, everyone. Zach says, jumped over $90. Sorry. A job. Hard to type. Oh, okay. Now I understand. Out of work professor, do you have recommendations to get better, faster at sound editing? I know practice, but often I feel like I can't hear nuances like clicks and sibilance, or if it needs more bass or compression. So, yes, I use a process, right? I like to stick to processes so that I can create the same audio every time. That means I use Adobe Audition and I have a rack. The very first and most important thing that you need to do, period, that solves 90% of your problems is make sure your space is properly taken care of. Okay, that's really what takes care of 90% of the problems. All right. There's also some really good mics that help you if you can't deck out your space as well as you would like. Okay, there's different mics that do different things. Shotgun mics are very helpful. This is a broadcast mic. All right, that is a dynamic microphone instead of a condenser microphone, meaning that it's not going to pick up as much, but your space takes a lot of it. After that, I like to create a rack within Adobe Audition, which is basically just a saved set of operations or set of actions that are saved in a specific order. Okay, and I literally bind that to one of my keys, and every time I'm done, I press that key, and it takes care of the whole entire process, and then I'm finished, unless there's something here or there I got to handle. But that's how quick it is. I mean, my editing is so quick because everything is already taken care of with space, mic placement, setup. That's what you're striving for. It should not take long. The only thing that I take a while sometimes with is breath placement, because, I don't use debreathers at all because I can't get them to ever work right. And if somebody has gotten a debreather to work right, please let me know. I want to talk to you. But I've worked on them forever, and you just can't ever get them to work really right. But at the same time, you don't want to get rid of all your breaths a lot of times. So that's the only thing I sometimes mess around with. But pretty much, once I record, I hit my key, I move over to my editing station. By the time I'm there, it takes me less than 30, 40 seconds to edit a piece. Now, of course, longer pieces are different, but it takes me very little time. So it's taking you a lot of time. That means you don't have the systems in place yet that you need to. It shouldn't take you very long at all. Okay. And if it does, and you're struggling with that, you know what, reach out to me. Maybe we can set up a coaching session, or, reach out to another coach or somebody that can help you with that. Okay, so must overcome. Hey man, do you think it's better to focus on ACX or Fiverr for financial stability? My gut feeling tells me ACX, but I'd love to hear your opinion on this. Absolutely. My opinion is both. You need to have both. Don't ever rely on one platform. I mean, I know we're here talking about Fiverr, but don't ever rely on one platform because, like I say, a platform giveth, they can take it away. Okay, so what happens if something happens? I mean, I know one of my students, she's incredible, very talented actress, and she kind of got sucked into a bad situation on Fiverr. It was not her fault. Fiverr did not show mercy, canceled her account, basically left her in the lurch for months. She had to reopen it under another name later on and start all over again. She's starting to make money now again, but, it can be taken away from you just like that, even when it's not necessarily your fault. So my recommendation is you're on both. And more than that, you're on 5 to 10 platforms. Okay, you're using social media, you're using your website, you're putting out content, you're doing whatever you can on multiple fronts so that if one part of your business goes down, another part goes up. Does that make sense? Or another part, you've got other parts that are stabilizing your business, so other streams of income. So that's my recommendation is both. Okay, Sean says, Fiverr's thumbnails aspect ratio is all over the place. I'm getting tired of trying to edit videos just to find out it's off. I hear you, Sean. They don't make it easy. They could make it easier, too, by just simply saying do this and this, but I don't even think Fiverr knows at this point. So I usually do 1920 by 1080, remembering that 180 pixels all the way around kind of shrink into that middle section, making sure that you take into account that when Fiverr takes your thumbnail and then moves it on shrinks it to the smaller thumbnails, they take out 180 pixels on all 4 sides. So you got to make sure your writing and everything is kind of shrunken or pushed into the middle a little bit more, and you won't have a problem. B-Dog at 45, what's up? Zach says, sorry, safety gloves at work had me hitting the send key. That's okay. I thought I was just so far off. You got all these acronyms. I was like, man, Zach's on fire. I don't know what he's saying. Mark says, got a meeting to go to. Thanks for all the helpful info. Just leave, Mark. Fine. See you tomorrow, Mark. Scott says, great show, Anthony. Thanks, Scott. Sean, Fiverr should go on Fiverr and hire someone to streamline their own app. Probably. Walter Bryan, I was contacted by a company through ACX offering to fully edit, select best takes, spacing between sentences, paragraphs, and after commas, pacing, tempo. Cool. And then the noise reduction, EQ, and fully make your voice sound its best possible up to ACX standards and send back to you for $50 per finished hour. Is that worth it if you're making more than 100 PH? So Walter, that's great. I mean, part of my business on Fiverr is I have an ACX gig where I edit and master and format people's audiobooks. I charge $40 per hour, but I don't do all that. What I don't do is the takes and everything. That's a lot of work. So, I mean, that's actually a really good price if they do a good job. Okay, so what I mean by that is they're offering, to fully edit, select best takes, spacing between sentences, paragraphs, and after commas. That's that in itself. What I would do is if you're interested working with them, do you know what I mean? At least send them a test sample. But I do a lot of work. I do a lot of work with people who have, had their own audiobooks and they want someone to edit it, format it for ACX. I do a lot of work through Fiverr, on Fiverr for other people who do audiobooks as well. So it's definitely good. But just remember, if you are doing it for $50 PFH, that means whatever you're doing, you know what I mean? You've got to still record everything. So you got to charge accordingly. When I first started, and now I still do all of my own because I just can't get over at this point. Well, I don't do a lot of audiobooks anymore except the one I was up, last night until 4. That's probably why I don't do audiobooks anymore. But, that's something else. Anyways, let's move on. Eric, here I'd echo if anyone has set up a debreather, please let us all know. Yeah, I just don't think they really work as well. Now, I do know the RX-7, which, by the way, I've not had a chance to look, but I know RX-7, they've come out with RX-8, And I know the upgrade, if you have standard, is like $100 and some dollars, which I might do just to stay up to date, because I always like to stay up to date with things. But I know that's come out. But the de-breather there, they have a breather there. I mean, it does a pretty good job of reducing breaths. So that might not be bad, something to look at. But whenever you're trying to really do away with all breaths, it's just very challenging, because sometimes it'll just get rid of words, like the end of words and stuff. So it's tough. All right. So Don says, I want to say thank you for stressing the importance of posting to social media. I haven't been doing it long, but it got me a $2,000 job. Nice. If you aren't doing this, you must. That's awesome, Don. Good for you, man. Rich, had to help my wife. Can you go back and repeat everything from the last 6 minutes? What? No, I can't, Rich. You'll have to. Fortunately, this is recorded, so you'll be able to see it. No, I'm sorry. I don't even remember at this point. I have to really like dig in and think about what we just said. We talked about a lot. Let's see. Angela says de-breath needs to be adjusted a lot, sometimes a couple of times in the same file. It's definitely not a set and forget. Yes, that's true. Absolutely. Must overcome. I like that name, by the way. Thank you for your advice. I noticed you don't mention the pay-to-play sites as much. Do you think they're less profitable than Fiverr and ACX? So, there's always this contention, I think, with the pay-to-play sites. And I can only speak to the people I've coached and myself. And I will say that some I recommend, some I do not. I know this is not, like the voice realm. I recommend the voice realm. Now, I recommend it as an American, as an American voice actor. I know a lot of people in the UK do not like the voice realm, but it's $250 a year for their premium service. And I've made thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I've made a lot of money. I get booked a couple of times a month. And I don't even do that much auditioning on that platform, but I've paid a lot of money on Voice 123 and Voices.com. I've done a lot of auditions and I don't get diddly squat, or I get called back, or it's always a runaround. It's always, you're always competing. It's just a massive cattle call, right? Okay, so let me just kind of tell you my thought process here. Okay, my thought process is I like to control what content I put out and when I put out and how I put it out. And I like to let people come to me. I don't like to go chasing people down, because when you do that, you have to spend so much energy chasing them down. All right. And on top of that, everyone else is doing that. So the problem you run into is that usually you've got hundreds of people trying to get an audition in front of one person. So you've got to, and then if you do get that audition, okay, and it gets sent to them, then you've got to hope, all right, that there's a slight chance that they actually will listen to it. So you've spent all this time, you've done an audition, one person, and if they do listen to it, only one person hears it, and then it's gone forever. And then they might not even listen to it. So you've spent all this time and effort doing this one thing for one person who might not even listen to it. And if they do, okay, and you don't get chosen, it's gone forever. Whereas I like to create content. I like to put things out there, put things on like Fiverr, ACX, where on ACX, I like to put out samples on ACX because people will find you and offer you contracts, and other sites, as opposed to me constantly auditioning. Now, on Voice Realm, so let me say that with a caveat. If you auditioned regularly on Voices.com or Voice 123 and you're getting work regularly, then there's nothing wrong with it. But I found that there is a huge discrepancy between how many auditions you have to actually do to get a job on those platforms. Whereas on Voice Realm, I do very little I do very little auditions, and I seem to get work regularly. So, it could be the way that they put out. It could be that Voice Realm doesn't accept everybody, right? I mean, you don't get accepted right away, but you have to submit your stuff and then they have to accept you. But that's what I recommend. And now I am on Voices.com and Voice 123, but I do not actually audition. I just put up my samples. I got contacted the other day from someone from Voice 123, ironically, who watched my YouTube, who's part of the YouTube channel family. They're a subscriber. They needed a voiceover, and they contacted me through Voice 123. Okay, so, but, but they found me because on my YouTube channel, and then I guess they found me on Voice 123, but I didn't audition for anything. They just messaged me through that platform. So I don't like to audition very much at all unless it's like maybe a private audition. I'd rather people come to me because they want to work with me instead of me chasing them down. And because of social media, because of these other platforms like Fiverr, we can put out stuff and let people find us. You know what I mean? And we can try to make our stuff as perfect, as great as possible and let people be wowed by us as opposed to us chasing them down. Okay, that's my that's my thought process, my quirky, goofy thought process about it. I hope that was a long answer to your question. I hope that was a good one. Sean, isotope pantyhose plugin. Okay. I love isotope. I don't know about the pantyhose plugin. I did tell you guys I did make a pantyhose pop filter once, right? I told you about that when I first started. Metal coat hanger, old pantyhose, wrap it around the mic stand. Works really good, actually. Let's see. Mr. Conroll, as a rookie, what kind of VO jobs should I focus on to help learn the ropes? I don't want to bite off more than I can chew starting out. So I don't want you to stress about that. Okay? I give you permission to screw up. Go for it. Don't worry about what you can do and what you can't do right now. Just go do. Go do. Seriously, just go out and try. Get whatever business someone is willing to offer you. Screw up. I mean, I'm not saying you want to do this, but when I first started and doing audiobooks, guys, I sucked so bad. I didn't know what I was doing. I would get emails from the people who I was doing books being like, "You're supposed to be a professional. You suck. This is awful. Why are you?" I mean, I got those emails. I don't talk about it a lot. Well, now you know. But because I didn't know I literally had no clue what I was doing. I had a $40 microphone. I had my hobo fort. At that time, I didn't even know what a pop filter was when I first started. I didn't even know what a pop filter was. Okay. Ironically, now I don't use them because I have different techniques. But anyways, that's needless to say. The point is that, but I'm so happy that I kept stumbling forward because I got better and better. And I'm so thankful that I didn't let my analysis and worry of what I should be doing stop me. Okay. And that's what you don't want to do. So I'd rather you keep pushing forward. You're not going to screw your business up for life. I promise you. There's always, if you screw up, it's fine. Move on. But whatever you do, you've got to go do something and don't worry about what it is. Okay. Let's see. Repeat the last 6 minutes. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. Hello. Must overcome. Thanks for the compliment and golden advice. Which do you think is a more efficient way of being profitable, focusing on audiobooks or commercials? Both. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I think in our day and age, the voiceover actors and artists, especially us that are solopreneurs and trying to do this on our own in our own homes, studios and everything. We're trying to build a business, a worldwide business. It's a lot more difficult to just do one thing. You can do it. You can absolutely do it. And that's not a bad thing, but making yourself more marketable by offering more things will give you more. I mean, like I told you, I do podcast intros and outros. I do audiobooks. I do phone messaging. I do, commercials, video narration, radio, e-learning, whatever. I don't like doing dubbing, but I'll do dubbing, creating, using background music, editing other people's stuff. I edit people's stuff. Do you know what I mean? I do all of it because I almost view myself as a studio that offers a variety of voiceover services so that I can capture more work instead of somebody going with someone else who will offer it all. Okay? That's just my opinions about it. So I would do them both. Let's see. Facebook user, I needed to hear that. Just go do. Yeah, just go do. Kevin and Damaris Kompsik, sorry if I said that wrong. Audiobooks seem to be very time consuming. How do you balance that work with other jobs? You stayed up until 4 in the morning. That's what I was up until 4 in the morning. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to balance that. So, it's a very important, a little tool that I use when I'm heavy into audiobooks, or that I did use, is I would base, because there were times when I had 8 or 9 audiobooks in the queue that I was working on at one time, and I would base my time frames on scheduled words per day, right? So if you can record 2 hours of finished audio a day, which should roughly take you 4 to 5 hours. Now, some of you would be like, 2 hours takes me 10 hours, Anthony. Well, I understand that you got to get faster. I mean, you have to push yourself to get faster, or it will, you'll lose the hair, like this hat is covering up my hair loss. So you've got to get faster. Okay. You've got to get faster. We talked about it earlier with editing, setting up racks, I do a punch and roll. I do a modified punch and roll while I'm actually narrating, so that I edit fully while I'm narrating. This is something I learned when I had so many books, so that at the end, all right, I don't go back and fully listen, because I fully listened and edited throughout the process. It takes a wee bit more time, but saves tons of time on the back end. I stopped using a clicker because the clicker was forcing me to go back and do tons of editing. I started fixing things right on the dot, and because I was doing that, I would literally just go back to the beginning of that sentence, start over again, and continue on and roll on through. And then my rack and the way I set things up works out that way. All right. I really appreciate. What in the world is that? Must overcome. Did you just donate some money to me? You are incredible. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your help. $30. You are awesome. I have a deep voice. Do you think condenser or shotgun microphones are better? I'm seriously considered the NT1. Also, what's your opinion on the Focusrite 2i2 and protocols versus Adobe? First off, thank you so much. I appreciate it. That is so awesome. Thank you. And I think it's a super chat, I believe what that is. You are the first one to do that. Thank you so much. That makes me smile. So let me answer your questions. Lofty, I know that you had something. I'll get right back to what you were asking to Lofty as well as Sean. But I just saw that popped up on the screen as a super chat. So let me answer that real quick and I'll get back to you guys. So personally, actually, I love the idea of a shotgun mic. I recommend the Cinco D2. All right. That's a great shotgun mic. It's a couple $100. I have the 416, the Sennheiser 416. I really like that mic. I think it's incredible, but it's expensive. And the D2 is also an incredible mic. I work with another student who I think if he's still here, he has one of those. Absolutely loves it. His voice sounds amazing. I think it's like a couple $100 for the D2. And I just love it. And the 2i2 is fine. I know that sometimes you have to run the gain a little hot on the 2i2. Okay. But it does work well with Adobe. Okay, the Focusrite 2i2. So I think that's a great. That would be a good setup. The NT1 is good. All right, the NT1 is good. I would recommend, like I said, the Cinco D2 for shotgun mics, especially with a deep voice. It's going to give you a nice, rich bass sound. Okay. So that's what I would recommend. So thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. Sean says that was a homemade pop filter joke. That's right. Sometimes the simplest things just work. Absolutely. Lofty says, how do you interpret instructions from clients? Is there a best and easy way that always works? Or is it sometimes hard for them to describe exactly what you want? Great question, Lofty. Let me tell you exactly what I do. Because it is difficult for us to understand, through writing, because what you believe is something might be different from me, I always ask for a video or recorded reference. So a lot of times people will hire us and they'll have something in their mind that they want. I specifically will say, hey, do you have a video reference or like a YouTube video link that you're thinking of or that meets it? 99.99% of the time, they have a reference link that they can send. And then that will help you so much because that really will give you an idea more of what, your thinking or their thinking is as opposed to what they wrote down. So that would be my recommendation. Ask for a reference link, especially at the beginning, so that you guys don't spend time going back and forth with arguing about revisions and everything when we can't figure out what exactly they're doing. Okay? Great question. All right, let's move on to Greg. The NT1A is a USB mic. Yes, that's true. Yes, but they also have they also have XLR versions, I believe. Let's see, Kevin and Amaris, I would love to see more examples of your workflow process. Thank you for all your videos. They are so informative. Thank you. I really appreciate that. We do a lot of that in the Fiverr Elite program. That's a weekly. We meet on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And we go over all of the workflows and everything like that. I do some videos on that, but it is a little more challenging for the videos because, this is just a side note, I use OBS right now, and I have to figure out how to actually, that's the streaming platform I'm using through Restream. I have to figure out how to actually get the picture bigger, because if you've seen the videos, the picture's really small, and everybody's like, hey, I really like that, Andy, but I can't really see what you're doing. The picture's so small, so I'm truly trying to work on that. But I definitely want to give more of those because people have asked for it. Let's see. Out of Bounds, have a great weekend. You too, Eric. Love my D2. Yes, sir. Greg says NT1 is XLR, NT1A is USB. Thank you, sir. Lofty, a reference, thanks. Yes, absolutely, Luffy. Sean, I started with the NT1A, with much success with my deep voice. I now use a 416. Awesome, Sean. Thank you, sir. My NT is XLR. Sweet. Out of work professor, I think the NT1A is XLR. The Rode NT USB is U. So I think right now what you do is you can go back to when you go and you buy those, they now have multiple options on a lot of them where you can get a USB or you can get an XLR. So I don't know which ones are which, but I think the D2 is very comparable. It's not as good as the 416, but it's darn close. And I love my 416 and the way the D2 gives a nice sound for people with deep voices. So that's what I would recommend there. But yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's see. Adina, I think we've been doing this for a long. We've been on for 2 hours or for an hour. You guys, you're amazing. We'll go ahead and probably call it here. Adina says, awesome point about not chasing work, but putting out enough content to make it come to you. Absolutely, Adina. Let's see. Mr. Conroe, what's wrong with the USB mics? Good question. There's nothing wrong with USB mics. I think what happens is USB mics become limited in the fact that when, let me be honest, I think one day they keep getting better and better, and USB mics will continue to get better and better. But most of your high-end, high-quality mics, all right, are XLR mics because of the power consumption, okay, that is put through these mics, and the signaling and the capsules and what it takes to make them work. All right, there's not been components. Now you can get simple XLR to USB converters. All right, other than just an interface, they can be literally small converters. Okay, but in most cases, USB mics kind of cap out. And, you're not going to get the full, robust condenser feel with a USB mic, meaning that you're not going to pick up all of the frequencies, the depth, and a lot of the sound variations that you can get with an XLR mic than with a USB mic. Do I think it will always be that way? No, I think they're going to keep, just like any technology, it'll keep getting better and better and better. I mean, Blue Yeti came out with that, the Pro Blue Yeti or whatever. That's like $250 or $280 or something right now. That's supposed to be really good. So, that's they're going to keep coming out with better and better USB mics. But right now, I think the XLR mics, the higher range, right, are fantastic. But, you know, if you're talking around $100 to $200, there's still some great USB mics as well. So, good question. XLR has tons of headroom. The little EQ makes up a top end on the D2. Ender says Yeti Pro is both USB and XLR. I'm enjoying the Samsung G-Track Pro USB right now. Awesome. Well, hey, guys, listen, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Man, and again, thank you, Must Overcome, for that super chat. That was awesome, dude. Really appreciate that. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. It is Labor Day weekend, right? So have a wonderful weekend. And also make sure you hit the like, subscribe button. And, you know, if you feel like someone should see this, share it with them. Otherwise, oh, and also I just wanted to mention to you too, I know many of you might know this, but we offer some incredible demo services through a VO's journey. I've got another production person who works with me who does amazing stuff with effects and sound and stuff. So we work together. So if you're looking for a demo, there'll be a link below. Pop over, check it out. Love to help you. So thank you guys so much. You have a wonderful weekend. If I see you in Fiverr Elite, I'll see you tomorrow. Other than that, have a good vacation weekend, and best of luck for those people starting school next week. All right, bye, everybody. Goodbye.